Welcome back to the Junkyard Dawgcast. And once again, Georgia covers on the road with a 26-point win over Mississippi State. Georgia is 10-0 once again for the second year in a row. Never happened before. And once again, for the fifth time in 7 years, Kirby Smart will be taking his team to the SEC championship as Georgia clinched the SEC East. They will be taking on LSU for the conference title. Another interesting game is, for the most part, Georgia kind of went through the motions in this game, and we knew this was going to be a potential trap game coming off that big win over Tennessee on the road, against a conference opponent that likes to throw the ball more than anyone else in the country. And again, even though this game looked like Georgia, sloppy on offense and had some miscues on defense, still managed to comfortably cover the spread in this game. Again, break 45 points. Honestly, 67 plays for Mississippi State, 310 yards. The defense actually played pretty well for the most part. A couple of miscues, only allowed that that one touchdown there early on in the game. Other than that, just played really strong for most of the game. And again, up and down performance by Stetson Bennett. Kind of hot and cold there when he's on. It's almost impossible to defend a couple throws again that he liked to have back, but it is what it is with Stetson Bennett. It's going to happen sometimes. Still made some big plays when he needed to, and now again Georgia 10-0 with a chance to go 11-0 for the second year in a row. I believe 1980, 1982, those two teams both went 11-0 as well. But I think this is again something that Georgia, this era right now under Kirby Smart, the greatest time really for this program and program history. And honestly, I think they withstood those cowbells fairly well in this game. You had one offensive snap, false start on Cedric Van Pran Granger in the beginning. And other than that, no real issues with crowd noise. They went up tempo, had 73 yards in 9 plays, a little over 4 minutes. Stetson hits Darnell Washington for a big play, hits Bowers in that play. I think that's really how you go ahead and you quiet the crowd early on, and it kind of set the tempo up for this game. I think, Stetson again, from right down the road where he was at Jones College 4 years ago, trying to prove that he's worthy of a scholarship, comes back, throws a season high 3 touchdowns, runs for another, overcomes a pair of interceptions. Like I said, a couple throws he'd like to have back, but now he's 24-3 as a starter at Georgia. And again, had some big plays when they needed to. And I think, he only had 3 touchdowns coming into this game on 292 pass attempts. And there you go. He gets three touchdowns, 37 pass attempts, in this game. I think you look at this and go back to the film room. Those interceptions, you had the deep ball. You had the one ball that was batted by the linebacker where Cedric Van Pran Granger had the ball in his hands and didn't realize it because he's trying to pass block the guy. That's one you got to just give your credit to the defensive lineman for making a heck of a play. But I think right now you look at Stetson Bennett, he's continuing to give Georgia a chance to win. And some of his weapons really came up big in this game. Obviously, Lab McConkey, huge game for him. 5 catches for 75 yards, 71 yards and a touchdown this game. That 70-yard run, the second longest run of the season now. You look at Georgia's longest 2 runs of the year. Lab McConkey, Brock Bowers. And those have been their 2 biggest playmakers this year. I think you look at Lab McConkey the last couple of games, he's come alive. Whatever was told to him before that Tennessee game lit a fire under him. Obviously, going to play the team that he grew up a big fan of was big, but now back-to-back big games for Lab McConkey when Georgia needed him the most. And I think that's really, if you got to be really excited to see him coming alive, because this is that stretch of the season where they did need him most, and he's stepping up to the plate. And then another wide receiver, Kearis Jackson, a guy that, again, been in Georgia for a while, was basically Georgia's leading receiver in 2020. Hasn't really been a focal point. This game, welcome back, Kearis Jackson. One of the best catches of the year for Georgia. Kearis Jackson made a big play when Georgia needed it most. Straight up mossed that DB and came down with the football. 4 catches for 69 yards, I believe, for him as well. And again, the tight ends continue to be a huge part of this offense. Darnell Washington, good things happen whenever you throw him the football. Still doesn't get the football enough, but got that red zone touchdown finally, his first touchdown catch of the year. 5 catches, 60 yards for him. 5 catches, 41 yards at a touchdown for Brock. Not a better tight end room in the country, and they really, again, continue to make Stetson look great. Stetson does it himself, but those tight ends are outstanding. And again, the defense. There were some big defensive plays in this game as well. Smile Munden, 8 tackles, tackle for loss, broke up a pass, rushed the quarterback. He did it all this week. Definitely the defensive MVP, but not far behind him, Malachi Starks. Again, all over the field, showcasing his range, limiting this Mississippi State offense to 3-4 yards a catch. You knew they were going to throw it 50 times this game. You knew they were going to get rid of the ball quickly in this game. It's kind of a really bad matchup for Georgia's defense. Kirby Smart talked about it during the week. This is a offense that's different than everything else we face this year. It's basically like facing a Georgia Southern, a triple option type offense, where you have to just schematically prepare very differently. And again, Georgia's defense is designed to keep everyone in front of you, and again, get to the quarterback with 3 and 4, force them to make bad decisions, force them to get the ball out quickly. Well, what does Mississippi State like to do offensively? They like to get the ball out quickly, dink and dunk, just slants, comeback routes. So again, it was death by 1,000 paper cuts, but Georgia's defense stood tall when they needed to, made stops when they needed to. And overall, you really like what you see from this defense a year after all those guys going to the NFL draft. But now, again, Georgia preparing for Kentucky, 10-0, pretty strong performance. It's okay to not be happy with this win if you're a Georgia fan, but you got to remember there's never been a better time to be a Georgia fan than right now, because you're upset about a 26-point win on the road in the SEC. We'll talk more about this game next week for this Junkyard Dawgcast. I'm Kipp Adams. You guys enjoy your weekend.